Okay, so today we're going to do the green section, which is, I really like it. It's quite funky. It's pretty easy, but you might not have done the techniques we use in it before together. So let's get started. Okay, so first off, we need to attach our, sorry, I had a bit of a knot in my yarn to a hook with a slip knot. Now we're going to attach our yarn. You see how we've got our funky stitches? We want to attach our yarn to a stitch above one of those with a standing treble if you're UK or standing double crochet if you're US. So there we go. So it's kind of it's in the first chain of the group after our funky stitch, first stitch, not chain, that we attach our yarn. Then we're going to be working into the back loops only of the next 4 stitches. So we're just doing treble of UK, double crochet US, working into the back loops. 1, 2, oops, 3, 4. Now the next one we actually do a stitch in the next stitch, not in the back loop. So we've got a stitch here, 1, 2, 3, 4 back loops, and a stitch in the next stitch, not in the back loop. And we do that all the way around. I'll just show you the back loops one more time. So you can see I sort of angle my hook away from me to go in there, pull up a loop. Now, don't worry about how it sort of gets pulled up, because as you work subsequent stitches it all gets pulled back into line. So don't worry about that sort of loose looking stick. 2, 3, 4, and the next stitch in the stitch, not in the back loop. There you go. I'll meet you back here. Won't be long. Okay, here we are at the end. So I'm ready to do a stitch in the next stitch, and then 4 stitches in the back loops only. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops. And we're going to join up to our first stitch with a slip stitch. Okay, now the next round is sorry, I'm just reading the pattern again. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to be working into these stitches that are on their own, but also we're going to be skipping all of these stitches in the front loops, but we're going to be using these little front loops that were left over when we worked in the back. Okay, so the first thing we do is a double crochet UK or single crochet US in the same place as our first stitch. So we're going to go over our end as well, although no we won't because we can't. Yeah. Okay, then we're going to chain 2, and we're going to be doing slip stitches into these front loops. So what I'm doing is I'm angling, because I'm working through the camera, it's really fiddly, it's not usually this fiddly. So, a slip stitch. 1, see how I've sort of folded the work so the stitches are poking up on top. 2, 3, 4. Then we chain 2, and we'll do a stitch in this stitch that's in the stitch. Then we do chain 2, and again 1, 2, 3, 4 slip stitches, chain 2, and a double crochet UK or single crochet US in the next stitch. And we'll do that all the way around, and the next round we'll make those peaks really go nice and pointy. So I'll see you when we get round here. Okay, here we are back around the other side. I'm up to a stitch in this stitch, 2 chain, and 4 more of those a little bit fiddly slip stitches. So the first one's usually the trickiest. 1, 2, 3, 4, chain 2, and it's kind of bent down a little bit, but we're joining back up to our first stitch. Okay, we've got one more round of green to go. What we're going to be doing is doing a stitch into these ones that we skipped before. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll be doing a stitch into each of those. We're doing a back post stitch around this one that's kind of forward. So to start, we actually need to chain 1 and then do our back post stitch. So what I've done, chained 1, and just simply poke your hook underneath those chain spaces and do a stitch. So a double crochet UK or single crochet US terms. Then we do a stitch in each of these 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we do a back post stitch. So just simply poke your hook underneath the chain spaces, do a stitch, and you can see it makes them see how it's a bit sort of floppy and bent, but now it's nice and straight. And I will say that I had the inspiration from that from Sophie's Universe, from lovely Deirdre, who I love doing Sophie's Universe, and I learnt so much, and that was one of those things. I really love that bit. So there you go. It's quite simple, and I'll meet you back around the other side. Okay, here we are back around the other end. Got one more back post stitch to do, 4 more single stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to join with a slip stitch up to our first back post stitch, and that's it. That's our green done. Find my scissors and weave in those ends. I'm sure you don't need to see me do that again. I've got plenty of solid stitches to work into. So there you go. Don't forget to come and share your work over on Instagram with the Kaboom Cal tag, or come and pop into the Spin Cushions crochet group on Facebook. Thanks. See you later.